Session number 2, Building Tools and Capacities for Business Resilience. Let me introduce briefly who is going to be your moderator for this panel. Dr. Hitoshi Baba from JICA. He has over 30 years of extensive national and international experience in technical and administrative management in disaster and water resources areas, especially in the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport of the Government of Japan. Since 2010, he's based in Tokyo as a senior advisor to JICA, conducting innovative projects and technical assistant as a specialist of flood control, hydrological modeling, and disaster risk management. Please help me welcome Dr. Hitoshi Baba.
Thank you very much. It's a very honor for me to be here with you in this occasion of the Asian Business Forum. I'm Hitoshi Baba, Senior Advisor. Currently, I live in Bogota, Colombia, as an advisor to the Colombian government, and I'm assisting the development of the risk management system of the Colombia. Today we are going to talk about business continuation in Asian countries. Actually, today's presenter, including myself, we are four discussing about business continuation. The point of today's discussion is number one, what is the foremost lesson and challenge in promoting business continuation management among private enterprises? Number two, what kind of tools, fundamentals, and standards are required to make effective BCM partnership? Yeah, partnership. We are discussing about the partnership between all private enterprises as well as the government organizations. The final question is how the private sector of ASEAN member states should further move towards the resilient community, resilient economy to disasters. I will ask to you to reply, for these questions, particularly the last one, how we should move. Okay, I will finish my talk and I'll request the next speaker of Mr. Nanan Subana Dilja from Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baba. Respected participants and also speakers, I'm requested by ADPC to present our experience in doing small medium enterprise, or in particular micro and small enterprise resilience in Indonesia, and then focusing on the partnership side. So let me start with the key point that when we are talking about partnership, it is something that really cross-cutting. Thank you. So this is it has to be initiated, developed, nurtured, and also strengthened in the whole process of the management cycle. When we are talking about the micro and small enterprise resilience, and then it falls to the BCM, it falls to the BCP issues, which is, it's an alien for us, for Oxfam, for Indonesia, and for the humanitarian actors. But thankfully for Dr. Baba, Well, actually, you are really inspiring us, inspiring for Oxfam, providing a nice presentation. I still remember that we learned about this in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, when you are presented in the regional conference on disaster reductions. And then I approached him, Dr. Baba, do you have any module for the small medium enterprise BCM? And he said no. So it comes to my mind, and we need to learn on it because the need is there. So that's actually the challenge when we are talking about partnership, and it has to be cross-cutting to be in the whole project management cycle. In the meantime, this is a new thing for me, for everybody. So we start thinking and learning. So this is my presentation outlined. I will start with getting started, how we get started indeed. And after that, I'm going to present you about the project area, and then implementation strategy, and also the lesson learned and how we are going to move forward. In terms of getting started, like I said, like I mentioned before, that we need to initiate, we need to nurture, we need to develop the partnership since the beginning. So this is, the picture is not that right. The picture is actually taken 3 days ago when we had national stakeholder meetings, hosted by the NDMA. But a similar meeting happened, attended by National Disaster Management Agency, Ministry of Cooperatives, Ministry of Trade Industry, and banks, small medium enterprise representative, NGO, or etc. And then we start talking about how to implement the small medium enterprise resilience. So that's what we are starting. We analyze the concept of BCP and try to adapt that into the national context, even local context. And then we also agree the design and also agree the pilot project, which is Agam District and Magelang District. So thank for my partner, Nico. Nico is actually the implementing partner for Oxfam, and then, which is very intensive in doing that, in doing the BCP on the ground. So this is the area of pilot in Tiku Village. Tiku Village is not really village because this is in West Sumatra. The village is really big. It has 11,000 populations with 2.4 households. And then amazingly, it has 800 micro and small enterprise. It's really amazing in that area. Because of what? Because this is, the backbone of economy in the district. It has a sea, 43 kilometers of the sea long, and situated at 2 to 15 meters above sea level. And this is really most prone to tsunami that will be triggered by an earthquake. So it's really famous in Indonesia that it has a Mentawai megatrust, and it will create a big earthquake. And this is actually researched or projected by Nanyang University and also Indonesian Scientific Institute. So that's actually the situation. And then the scenario is that the water of tsunami will be 10 to 15 meter high. So you can imagine people don't have time to save. Okay, so this is the area, how the distributions of the micro and small enterprise there. There are market, there are fish production, fish processing, fish marketing, or etc. Fish is actually a backbone of economy in that village. And there are some also individual businesses. So we did a pilot by 2 phases. The first one is that we touched the fish processing activity, which is involving 40 micro and small enterprise, and then 5 individual enterprise. And the second step, we touched the traditional market, which involves more than 700 micro enterprise. And what is the implementation strategy for that? Okay, let me go back here. When we start working on it, we reported and then sit down together with the stakeholders, with the district mayor, with the district head, with the district management agency, and also with the stakeholder there. So partnership already started when we entered the area. And then we selected the area also under consultations with the authorities. Here is the implementation strategy. When we discuss with the stakeholders, it really needs to consider the importance of the business of the micro-enterprise itself. So how we are blending the need of the enterprise, which is business development, which is about profit, and also about disaster risk management. So the strategy is that we blend all together. So it can attract the involvement of the enterprises. And the most important part is about how to integrate with the existing system on the ground. We have CBDRM activities, we have district resilience activities also, and the cooperative agency, they also have business development. Yeah. So how we integrate that? And through the communication, through the consultation, and then it comes to agreement that the district management agency will be the owner of this project, of this pilot. And they will facilitate, they will do everything needs to make the project coming through. And the most important part since the beginning is that we need to create a public-private people partnership. I put people here because people will be the key point to make the pilot working. For example, the public figure, the civil society organizations, some other player on the ground. They are really key for us to make it happen. So this is the mindset since the beginning for us to do. And when we learn the BCP, the guidance from Dr. Baba, the APEC and ADPC Business Continuity Plan manual, the ILO manual, we learn that it needs to be adapted on the ground. It needs to be adjusted. And then, based on the local context, we come up with this scenario. So we try it to individual MSE, individual MSE involving 6 enterprises, and then we create individual BCP as well. And then we approach to fish processing as commodity, because fish is a business for processing, selling, catching, or etc. And then we touch one commodity, which is on processing, involving 40 medium micro enterprise. And then we also do cluster MSE when we are doing area business continuity plan, area business continuity management, which is in the market, the traditional market. So the traditional market, they have 700 players, 700 traders, and then we cluster that. Vegetable, banks, workshop, or etc. Grocery store, yeah? And then after that we go to area BCP, area BCM, area business continuity plan, and area business continuity management. And then all of the process, because we think about partnership, all of the process are reported to NDMA, yeah, and then and they provide us also guidance, the whole process. This is actually how we are implementing the process of area business, business continuity management. The new thing from this is that we really focus on how to generate support from the stakeholders. You see down there, the workshop on multi-stakeholders to support, or workshop on multi-stakeholder support to implement the micro, small enterprise resilience. That's actually one thing that quite different. The other part, I think, it's the same. And this is actually the example of how the business continuity plan produced. The title of this presentation is Resilient. Resilient is something related to pre, during, and post-disaster. So when we are approaching the enterprises, so our mindset is that how to make them aware of before disaster, so they can make a prevention, and during disaster, how they can cope, and after disaster, how can they recover. Yeah, the relation between before and after disaster is very strong. Just for example here, disaster risk insurance. And in the area we have banks, and the banks has risk insurance. And then how to connect the enterprise to risk insurance, it's a long process indeed. But when we are making them involved since the beginning, the bank since the beginning involved, including also producing the BCP, it is really easy for them to mingle. Yeah? It is really easy for them to take on board. This is one example of individual BCP, and this is an example of collective BCP, one BCP for 40 micro small enterprise. This is actually how the partnership we have finally. So if you see here, we have public sector, we have Bank Mutiara Pesisir, which is providing saving, providing risk insurance. And then PT Grafika, this is an enterprise on business consultation and business packaging or etc. And we have also a CSR company from cement industry. We have university, we have private, we have CSO, we have Red Cross there, we have public figures, we have government of course. So this is actually the public-private people partnership we set up, and then all of them are really aware about what they can contribute. Just for example, take into account the bank here. Since the beginning, the bank is involved, and then we are implementing the share value. So we approach the bank that it can take benefit from the process. So they go to individual MSE and then approach them to open the account. At the same time, also we provide awareness raising to the MSE that they need to have insurance, yeah, that will be needed after disaster. But at the same time, we approach also the cooperative agency to develop business. We approach also the Andalas University, how to make the processing of fish is better. It turns out that the university can increase the efficiency of the efficiency of the process. So 3-time reductions of the cost. So after reduction of the cost, and then revenue is increasing, income is increasing, and then the income is safe in the bank, and then they can also purchase the risk insurance. The bank here says that if you put money up to 2 million, and then you will get 20,000 free of risk insurance. And then all of them, 40 SME are actually registered in the bank, and then they have risk insurance. And this is an example of how we are working, how we are nurturing the partnership. This is with Grafika Jaya, with MOU signing, and then providing business consultations. Business consultation, product development, packaging, and then providing national access to national market. And then with the bank, I explained before. So I mentioned earlier that working on MSE resilient need to be blend between DRM component and also business development. So before I said something about the business development, and now this is how the MSE getting involved in preparedness. Those are disaster awareness raising, and then the other part is inclusive evacuation drill, yeah, involving stakeholders. They also involve in the food bank, setting up evacuation plan, setting up evacuation route, or etc., which is actually part of disaster community-based disaster risk management program. So this is the result up to now. Apart from our partnership working, apart from part of the discussion, a long time intensive discussion with the NDMA and the other stakeholders. 3 days ago, we just came up with national workshop, and then national workshop has been establishing a program of micro, small, medium enterprise resilience. And then it will work on policy framework, guidance, resource center and sharing center, resource mobilization, networking and programming. And then the NDMA is providing the decree, and in the process of the decree, and Oxfam and also the partner are requested to produce a zero draft of guidance. So that's the wonderful work currently. At project level, we see that there are shifting paradigm happening on the MSE. When they are introduced with the system, so they really understand that they need to make profit, but at the same time also they need to prepare for disaster. And there is also a transformative process, because the whole process is really gender-based interventions. Yeah, the women, for example, they are really encouraged to be a leader in any place, and then it's really successful. So one community members, one of micro enterprise, they come to be a member of small medium enterprise forum, and then she speaks a lot about the need of BCP, the need of BCM in district level. So we are watching on this, and then we are going to support that. And in terms of sustainability, now we are in process of influencing to make the MSE resilience to be district programming. So the lesson learned, actually, this is a progress. When I talked first time with Dr. Baba, well, MSE BCM is actually working on the ground. And the BCM strategy should include business development and risk and crisis management component. And this is disaster risk management agency should be the owner, so far in my country, the owner of the MSE resilient programming, while the cooperatives and trade agency for business development. So they need to communicate a lot. And public-private partnership mechanism to support PCM will be effective if duty bearers act as facilitator. Let me share you with a little bit about how the facilitator is working. So every time we are on the ground, every time we have a conference, the disaster management agency write a letter, we sit down to discuss the term of reference, and then they approach the stakeholders. So that's why we can receive a number of support from companies, yeah? CSR or social accountability. And the other one is share value mechanism. It should be maximized. And the other thing is that sustainability of the MSE resilience programming can happen if the ownership remains at duty bearers, successful model of BCM at field level, so we need to produce that on the ground, and then influential mechanism of public-private people partnership for programming and policy advocacy. This is the way forward. So we are going to produce a zero draft of MSME for Oxfam, is a micro and small resilience manual guidance, because we haven't touched the medium enterprises. And then encouraging for establishment of resource center for MSE resilient programming, and then promotion of enterprises resilience programming at national and ASEAN level, DRR Day in Manado. So we will have a DRR Day, and we have agreed all together with the NDMA that we are going to have a promotion in Manado, which is the ASEAN stakeholder also will be attending. So we are going to promote that. And then promotion of regional platform development for MSE Resilient. This is actually internal Oxfam, so we have been speaking with our counterpart in Vietnam and India, Pakistan, or etc. So those are my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nanan Dilja. I forgot to ask you if any question you have before introducing Dr. Go. One or two questions? Yes? Including my presentation. Any?
Antonis Malagades from GIZ, Philippines. I found both presentations very impressive. I have a question for Mr. Baba. What makes your approach, as you call it, area? one, different, very different, or maybe slightly different from what we have today, which is called more individual approach. And for the speaker from Oxfam, I saw the last slide indicating the sustainability, yeah, how you make it sustainable. But we know that very good work is done while all the efforts are there, the project cycle is there, but when funding comes to an end, and funding comes always to an end, on the sustainability we need strong ownership. So who is going in this community to take the ownership? We assume that the players that today are very enthusiastic, they will take ownership. But what are the measures? What are the actions that you are taking from Oxfam to make sure that this, in 5 years, will be bringing the results that you expected? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Any other? If no, yes.
My question is to Mr. Nanang from Indonesia. Thank you for the very interesting presentation. I'm really interested in the disaster risk insurance you're talking about. And you mentioned that you link between the bank and the SME for the disaster insurance. I understand that when you're dealing with disaster risk insurance, you have to pay on the legal framework from government. So I want to ask whether you have any difficulty and the situation in Indonesia, how you share that with the other countries, so we can learn from that. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your question. Regarding the first question about the area. Yes, when we discussed about this framework, and we have named as area BCM, it is come up from the similar framework of the area command. That is one of the organizational structure of the FEMA's IC incident command system that covers the unified command in case of a very large scale of disaster occurring in a very large area, needing the unified command to control the different areas of suffering from disasters. And according to the incident command system, the area command is also scalable. It can expand and it can reduce accordingly to the changing situation of the disaster. So we defined the area BCM as scalable cross-sector coordination. You can start from any size of the geographical area. You can start from any small coordination between multiple organizations, and anytime you can expand by inviting other interested stakeholders to join the framework. That is the area, not the definite one. Okay. The second and third question, please, Mr. Nanan.
Oh yeah,
Please
thank you very much. Thank you, sir, from GIZ. So the sustainability is actually the common issues in any project, yeah? And then we are thinking not to approach the activities as a project, but as a program. And then we come up with a holistic and comprehensive approach, which is combining the community mobilization, policy advocacy, and also government programming. So in terms of the our pilot on the ground, how the sustainability can happen, we approach the district agency, the district government, that the need of building the resilience should become not only in community level, but also in district level, but also in private sector level. So awareness raising, it should come first. This is one thing. And then the second one is that we try to influence the government to take it as their program, because this is part of their ownership, and then how to make it integrate into their annual programming. So the annual programming will ensure that the work will be tapped
into the agency annual budget, annual programming, and it will ensure the sustainability will be there. At the same time, at the community level, we trained the community on BCP, for example. In the market, when we are working in the market, we manage TOT, not TOT, the facilitator, training of facilitator for BCP. So they are the one who is facilitating to produce the BCP. So we are providing investment to the community. Yeah. So the representative of the community as a facilitator, they are facilitating the members of the MSE, and then they produce the BCP, and after that they get involved in the whole process of management cycle. So we do invest in that. And then with the government program, with the government annual budget, and then we have person on the ground, it will ensure that the sustainability can come there. And then the good thing is that even the neighboring sub-district has come to our partners, and then they want to replicate. So the replication has been quite seen, has been there, and then it is a matter of time only. Because now the local figure, the partners, and also the stakeholders, yeah, they are sitting together with the NDMA how to put the MSE resilient program into the government budget. And then it depends on to which the program will be attached. Is it going to be attached in the NDMA, or is it going to be attached in the disaster management agency or the cooperative agency? So those are the process. The second question is about the risk insurance. We understand that it is not really easy to promote the risk insurance. The risk insurance we have here is that we are using the private sector risk insurance, which is Central Asia Raya Insurance. Yeah? And we connect community to the bank. And then the bank provide insurance to the local bank. So we have local bank who market the insurance. Yeah? But currently there is a change. The government, they issue new regulation that the local bank cannot sell again the risk insurance. So this is a challenge for us. But the authority has provided the guidance that if you want to have a risk insurance, and then you need to create cooperatives. Even I think this is a progressive movement from the government. What we are still learning on it. Yeah? So we understand that legal framework has a problem. We understand that. However, from the Ministry of Cooperatives since the beginning, they also informed that the ministry has disaster insurance for fire, for earthquake, and for others. So we can access the risk insurance to the government scheme or to the existing bank. I hope those are answering the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.